When I first started watching Amphibia a few years ago, August of 2020 to be more precise, I was not sure what to expect from the show. My first impressions of Amphibia was thinking that it's going to be a funny, non-serious cartoon that I can just watch to help me ignore the troubles of the real world. And as we all know, 2020 was a year when all of us could use something like that. For most of Season 1 and a lot of Season 2, Amphibia remained largely what I saw when I first found it. Sure, there were definitely some serious, dark, and emotional moments in the show, but for the most part, the show has largely remained consistent with its general vibe, which is that it's the funny frog show. I only watched Amphibia just to be entertained and have a good laugh. I did not really think much about the overarching plot or the moral of the story, and I especially did not think about how the show was going to affect my life in the long run. Well, that all changed when just over 2 years ago, Amphibia's Season 2 finale, True Colors, officially aired, or at least supposed to air. That's what I want to ramble about today. How did True Colors unexpectedly change Amphibia and the community surrounding it? What makes True Colors the most consequential episode of the entire series was how it affected the direction of the show's story for Season 3 and changed how people saw the show. Amphibia went from a show about a teenage girl getting stuck in another world and finding a way back home to a show about the apocalypse, maniacal conquest, and personal breakups. The stakes of the show were raised to a much higher level than I could have anticipated. When the episode initially began, it started out kind of how I expected. We see a flashback to the day of Anne's birthday, but this time, it was in Marcy's perspective, during which we learned two things. First, we learned how Marcy found out what the Calamity Box is, but more importantly, we learned that Marcy had a major falling out with her parents, which caused her to run away. That of course led her to the thrift store where the Calamity Box is. This flashback alone already changed how I view Marcy as a character. Since her introduction, I always liked her as a character for how funny and cheery she is, but this backstory added a layer of tragedy to her, which made her more complex than before. Fast forward to the beginning of Sasha and Grimes' coup d'etat against King Andreas, the story continues in a somewhat expected way. Andreas was momentarily detained, frankly he should have stayed detained, and became furious with Sasha and broke their friendship, which is very well deserved by the way. I know Sasha eventually had a change of heart, but at the moment, Anne was right to do what she did. Soon after, Anne, Marcy, the Planters, as well as Olivia and Yunnan were able to escape and plan out a counterattack against Sasha and Grimes' rebellion, during which the two rebels uncovered the dark truth behind Andreas' ambitions for the Calamity Box, and they tried their best to stop Anne and her group from helping him regain control. But after a well-animated fight scene, the coup d'etat failed, and Sasha and Grimes were subsequently arrested. Now all of that was easy for us to predict, but what I did not expect was for that whole storyline to be covered within the first half of the episode. The second half of True Colors was when the episode really went way beyond my expectations. When Anne gave the Calamity Box to Andreas, I actually did not know what he exactly wanted from it besides maybe unlocking unlimited power to create new technology. I was right on that hunch, but finding out that Newtopia was basically a space-age version of the Roman Empire came out of nowhere for me. Admittedly, it seemed obvious that Andreas had imperial and world-ending ambitions looking back in episodes leading up to True Colors, but like I said before, I did not watch the show for the lore. I watched it to laugh and have fun. Any pieces of lore we got were basically just nice extras to me. So this reveal that we see was genuinely surprising for me when I first watched it. And man, I loved it so much. Even after watching this scene many times now, I still get goosebumps from it. Now of course, seeing Andreas reveal his true colors is one thing, but Marcy's revelation was just as surprising but a lot more emotional. Andreas exposing Marcy for her true intentions and seeing her desperately trying to explain herself is quite heartbreaking to see, especially after seeing her break down. To this day, it's one of my favorite scenes of the show because, like I said before, it gives depth to Marcy's character and makes the show a lot more serious than I anticipated. All of these are already stunning revelations, but the episode still has more. After the protagonists set aside their differences and unite to fight Andreas, we got quite a lot of surprises ranging from startling to borderline traumatizing. First there was Frobo, who got smashed into pieces. Now going into the episode, I kinda expected one character to get killed, and I was expecting a minor character, and Frobo kinda fit that. So this moment was startling, but not really outside of expectations. But clearly, there were more shocks left in the episode. After that death, Polly in the nick of time was able to grow her legs. Although that was foreshadowed earlier in the episode, it was still satisfying to see that happen. But then we get to the top 3 most shocking moments of the episode. First, there was Sprig.
That's the thing about friends, isn't it? The more you love them, the more it hurts when they go. Allow me to demonstrate.
Seeing him fall from the sky, with no one else seemingly able to save him, really made me think for a moment that was actually it for Sprig, especially when we started seeing clips of him and Ant's time together. The moment was so shocking and sad that it led to the next staggering moment of the episode. Seeing Ant's powers finally activate after 2 seasons of foreshadowing was incredibly satisfying to see, especially given how well animated it is. Seriously, this moment was the first time when I was really impressed by Amphibia's animation quality. Once the dust has settled though, thankfully we learned that Sprig is alive thanks to Marcy saving him during the whole fight. But then that leads us to the most shocking moment of all. Not just for this episode, but for all of Amphibia in my opinion.
Quick! Into the portal, everyone! Hurry!
The box!
Marcy, hurry! I just need to...
This scene here, without a doubt, trounces all of the other shocking moments in this show. Seeing Marcy get impaled and basically die in front of everyone irreparably changed how I saw the show moving forward. Specifically, it made me realize that you cannot take the safety of a character in the show for granted, especially if they are your favorite character. As I mentioned before, I never took the show seriously for its lore or plot. Sure, it became more interesting as the show progressed, but I cared most about just seeing the characters go through fun, wacky adventures where their safety should not even be a concern. But True Colors shattered that view. No character, regardless of how important they are, is safe from death was my main takeaway from this episode. Unfortunately, that takeaway is apparently too dark for the executives at the Evil Mouse Corporation. Just hours before True Colors was supposed to air, Disney TVA announced that the episode was delayed due to scheduling conflicts. Side note, when the delay and then leak happened, I predicted that the episode was really delayed because the ending of the finale was just too dark for Disney Channel's intended audience. We even got confirmation from Matt Brawley sometime after the episode's official premiere that the ending was the real reason for the delay. And the content warning and the Season 3 intro sneak peek were actually compromises made to make sure that Marcy's death remains uncensored. But yeah, that delay itself was annoying enough, and then the leak happened. That time when the episode got leaked was an incredibly chaotic time for the Amphibia community. People were trying their hardest to avoid spoilers for True Colors, and Matt Brawley was out on Twitter venting his frustration over this debacle. I personally felt bad for any community leaders at the time who had to deal with all of this, to be frank. But with that being said, there was a bit of a silver lining with this chaos. For one, the leak itself may have prevented the episode's ending from being censored. It seemed clear that some Disney executive delayed the episode last minute and wanted to remove parts of the impalement scene, either to make it more ambiguous or to not show it at all. But since the leak showed what True Colors is supposed to look like in its purest form, Disney cannot just censor the final version and avoid getting severe backlash from it. So in a way, while the delay should not have happened, the leak actually helped the crew preserve their original vision for the episode. But the leak was more impactful than just that. On a personal note, the leak also changed people's lives in ways that we could not have seen coming. For example, a lot of the well-known Amphibia content creators you see likely got their initial following from True Colors and the leak. That was the case for me at least. I started uploading Amphibia videos around a week before True Colors was supposed to air, and to my surprise, my first videos did get a shocking amount of attention, and some of them translated to actual support from subscribers, which I never thought would be reality at the time. I guess that's a way of me saying thank you to those who have been watching my videos for the past couple years and subscribed to my channel. Of course, it's not just me who got their initial start from True Colors. Tomato Sauce is actually a prime example I can think of when it comes to a content creator who benefited a lot from True Colors and the leak in the long run. I mean, even he admits that to some degree. Of course, the leak is just one thing that helped. He would have gotten a big following like he does now eventually because his content is just that good and hilarious. But still, the news from this leak definitely allowed Amphibia content creators to grow their audiences at a faster rate than anticipated. It also grew the size of the Amphibia community significantly, causing folks to meet and interact with new people, forming new relationships. I saw this firsthand on all the platforms I'm on, and it still happens to this day, even in my own Discord server, which, by the way, you should all check out. Link to it will be in the description. Overall, there's no denying that True Colors really changed pretty much everything related to Amphibia. It changed the direction of where the story will go for Season 3, it changed how I saw the show as a viewer. Most significantly though, it actually changed my life in a way that I could not have predicted. Now, I cannot speak for every Amphibia creator out there, but for me, True Colors gave my channel the boost needed to where it actually made YouTube worth spending time on making content. My initial videos were very basic at first, but they slowly evolved and I eventually realized I could actually do some creative work that I like. While there were many steps in my personal journey that led me to where I am now, my path as a content creator could not have started if it were not for True Colors. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. What did you guys think of True Colors when it first came out? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. Also, thanks again to Seb13 and insert name for directly contributing to this channel. Your support goes a long way, along with everyone else who watches these videos. Anyways, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great day. See you in the next one.